Welcome to the 8th chapter, Export and Import, covering shipping, transport, trade barriers, trading blocks, and international organizations. We will describe methods of transportation, trade barriers like customs duties, and give you an overview of the trading blocks and international organizations of importance. You have many choices of transport. They all have pros and cons and will impact your shipping time and cost. Analyze the total cost for the selected method, including freight, handling, documentation, customs duties. Remember, this is part of your cost when calculating your export price. The lower the freight cost, the more you keep and thereby increase your export price. Consider how long time transport will take. Time from pickup to delivery at foreign destination. Time is money, and shipping by sea can take a long time and delay receiving of payments. Analyze also the safety of goods in transport. Does handling increase opportunity for theft, loss, damage, delay, etc.? Cargo ships carry more than 90% of the world's traded goods by volume. India and China are responsible for majority of goods shipped. New Superpass Panamax ships carry 13,100 20-foot containers. Until recently, max was 9,000 containers. Air freight is very common for smaller items or where speed is of essence. It costs more than shipping by boat. Rail transport is common for long-distance inland transportation. The cost is relatively low, suitable for heavy goods, bulk products such as grain or oil, or high volumes of goods. Truck transport is a good alternative for short distances where the goods are shipped door to door, or there is a need for special handling such refrigeration. Partial post is a good alternative for smaller goods like spare parts, books, and electronics. Courier is good for fast deliveries and is secure. It allows you to track goods. It allows for fast customs clearance. Digital transfer is suitable for software downloads, architect drawings, design drawings, annual reports, etc. A combination of delivery method can start with goods loaded onto a train, transferred to a truck, and at the end a mule. When shipping by boat, there's a minimum charge for 1 cubic meter. What do you do if you cannot fill that size of space? Sometimes air freight could cost less for smaller shipping volumes and low weight. Remember, transport pricing varies depending on classifications and value of goods, weight and or volume. It also depends on handling requirements, fragile, heavy, etc. There are loading and unloading expenses as well as cost for documentation for authorities. After this, customs clearance, port or terminal fees, and you see costs add up quickly. Ask for door-to-door price, you could compare the cost and for alternative methods. Packages must be labeled according to the rules of the receiving location, including language, contents, colors, and technical terminology. Product packaging must be adapted to minimize size and volume and weight, keeping in mind the measurement of transportation containers, potential exposure to hazards and damage, depending on the method of shipping. Look at the picture and calculation. Instead of using a standard box for walkers, a tailor-made box reduced freight cost from 15% to 9%, allowing an increase in export price. Save cost by reducing shipping volume. The implication of this was described in the export pricing chapter and video. Even if the customer pays for the freight charges, cost will influence your export price. Reducing freight costs gives you a higher export price and better profit. Freight costs should be negotiated and confirmed in advance in writing. You negotiate everything else. Select the forwarder qualified to assist at home and at the foreign destination. Arrange insurance and decide who pays for it. Make sure you know who is responsible of and liable of the goods in transit. Incoterms are standard trade definitions commonly used in international contracts. They limit disagreement between buyers and sellers and specify when responsibility is transferred between seller and buyer. Is it CIF, cost, insurance and freight, or FOB, free on board, or other? Study the different terms and select one good for both partners. Every other day a ship and its cargo are lost or destroyed. Make sure to insure your goods against damages and loss, like your machinery was destroyed by seawater or disappeared on the journey. Note you could even be liable for third-party damage, so if you shaft on your machinery, puncture a box with olive oil that destroys a package of wedding dresses, you are liable for all of that. You may also share responsibility for part of the value of the ship if you are not properly insured. There is an international classification code used for customs and gathering statistics, the Harmonized Commodity Description and Coding System. Items are identified by a 6-digit number that is recognized by countries that have adopted the harmonized system. You see example on this slide. Your government will have a website that helps you find the right code, or you could call your customs broker. The code is the base for deciding the customs duty in the foreign country. Every country has tariff barriers. The most common are customs duties. There are also sales taxes, luxury taxes on special taxes or controlled products, such as liquor and tobacco. Some countries also have recycling charges for certain goods. To delay paying customs duty, you could use bonded warehouse or duty-free manufacturing. If you store products in a bonded warehouse, customs and tax are only paid when the goods are taken out. If you need to bring goods temporarily for a trade show, you can use what is called an ATA carnet, temporary admission. That is a customs document allowing you to temporarily bring in goods. Your local chamber of commerce can issue this document. Non-tariff barriers take the form of import quotas that limits the amount of imports. There may be special standards you have to comply with. Perhaps you have to adapt and change the design of your product to meet local requirements. Your electrical plug might not fit if you are exporting a toaster. There could be a long process to get the product into the country that could cost extra money. There could be monopolies in the country, like on the sale of liquor, where there's only one buyer like in Sweden. The government controls purchases and they prefer domestic products. Note when you export or import products and goods, there are specific documents that have to accompany the goods. If they're not filled out properly, you risk delay or losing your shipment. One is packing list, a must. The customs people have to know the content of each box. Bill of lading, BL or airway bill. This is your contract with the forwarding company. The buyer has to have this document to access the goods. Customs invoices, either separate for the country or your invoice must contain the necessary information like country of origin, description of goods, etc. It has to correspond with the receiving country's requirements for goods and price structure before clearing customs. Some countries have even longer list of documents you need. Ask your freight forwarder for assistance. The world is becoming more open for trade. More trade agreements are being signed, opening countries up for even more trade. It creates a more level playing field, which results in better opportunities for the stronger companies, but less so for those who cannot compete in an open market. You have examples like European Union and NAFTA that are local trade agreements and Trans-Pacific Partnership that is global. Check if your country has a free trade agreement with the country you plan to do business with. Note there are many bilateral agreements, so the country like Chile also has a free trade agreement with European Union. Remember, there are international organizations like World Trade Organization that make sure that companies comply with the rules. There are many more. Look at the links on our website for international organizations. I have given you some samples from the chapter Shipping, Transport, Trade Barriers, Trading Blocks and International Organizations. If you do not have the book yet, visit our website exportpro.com. Click Look Inside. You will see the full introduction to the book, reading instructions, table of content, and the first page of each chapter. There is plenty of other useful information on our website, like articles, videos, question and answer, seminars, and workshops, and an extensive list of useful links. You can also search for specific topics in the search area, like cash against document, and it will take you to places on the website that is described. Or search for currency, and it will give you a number of sources on that topic. I hope you got some ideas what is covered in this chapter of my book. Each chapter has more detailed information on each subject. Good luck in your international business. Please remember, international business is not only export, but a two-way trading, including importing, joint venture, licensing, and much more. Visit our website exportpro.com for more information.